As most of you will know, I love creating stuff with mods. Houses, maps, spinny things. But there is one mod which I've yet to try, which is kind of mad considering it's literally called the Create mod. And there is so much stuff in here, like copper back tank, clockwork bearing, a hand crank, mechanical drill, sequenced gear shift, mechanical arm, vertical gear flywheel, portable fluid interface, chassis. Jeez, how long was I in there for? Ugh, okay, where was I? Oh yeah, with all these new items, I started my long journey to figure out just exactly what was going on. So, jumping into a test world, yep. I started putting together a few basic, well-known machines just to get an idea of how this stuff worked. Firstly, for power, we got the windmill, the water mill, and also this little thing over here, which is actually an encased fan being powered by the magma block below it. Meaning, with the flick of a lever, we basically have infinite power, though only at 64 SU, or stress units, which isn't that much, especially compared to the windmill's 2048 SUs, which is pretty handy given how small and simple the windmill is, though even simpler still, we have the water wheel. Producing only 256 SUs each, one seems to be enough to power pretty much any basic machine, and they are actually really simple to expand. As you can see, I've got two wheels here, combining the stress units together, meaning we can support 512 SUs on this system now. Nice. And using all that power, we have these mechanical pressers, which they are used to process metals, and I think some other stuff too, but at this point, I'm not entirely sure. To be fair, there is so much stuff in here, but at least with some basic understanding, I could now start learning the production lines. I will say, obviously I've found a lot of information using YouTube, so to give credit where it's due, I'll leave the links to some of the videos I used to help learn this stuff in the description below, and if you guys are just beginning your journey with this mod, these would be a great way to get started. Now, the first machine I built was this extremely basic iron farm. I mean, technically it's a flint farm with some iron as a byproduct, but we all know which one of these we'd rather have. Starts off with a little cobblestone generator, which then gets milled into gravel. That gets processed into nuggets and flint, and that's all these cool little particles here. Flint then gets filtered out, while the nuggets then get pressed into ingots. And yeah, not so much iron, and a ton of flint. I have had this thing running for a few hours in this world, so maybe burning the flint isn't such a bad idea? I don't know. Now, I did want to get a handle on two more things before I actually started my own creative world. Firstly, just ore processing in general, probably a good idea. Basically, with this setup, if I put some gold ore in here, I'll just chuck a stack in for now. There we go, you can see that it gets fed through the system and basically processed into ingots. Nice. Now, we actually got a lot of gold just from one stack, like more than double, so that's also another cool feature of this process. Lastly, I wanted to try and build one of those vertical windmill farm things. Yeah, nah, didn't quite go to plan, though it works more than well enough to power this little harvester down here. I'll go more into that in a bit, but the design was meant to be all like curving up and round between the pillars. Turns out I forgot the glue, because yeah, that's a thing. We do rectify the situation in my creative world a bit later, but for now, I saw this cool design for a semi-auto mining machine. Again, links will be in the description, but he had it set up so you had to still like mine a small tunnel out in front of the miner to dictate how far it went. I actually tried messing about with it, changing it up to make it fully autonomous. It actually worked alright for a bit. Then I stopped it and tried adding these torch deploys on the side. I mean, there are so many bats in here, and I think I broke something getting it started again. Like, I actually don't know. So anyway, if you want to see me figure out a fully autonomous miner and other stuff on the Create mod, just let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and now let's jump straight into the existential void of existence and show you just what I've been up to. Hello there, we're back at the factory. God, that's long. So let's take a look at the farms I have set up so far. As you can see, I've left all of this off for now. It's always a smart idea to have off switches for your machines, because it can contribute to lag a bit when you've got a lot of machines running in your world. But obviously we want to see this all working, so yep. There we go. And we'll switch on the other one down here too. There we go. Though this one will take a few seconds to get started, but when it finally does, you'll see the redstone contacts disconnect and it will begin sweeping the field. As you can see, we've actually got it connected up to the windmill as its power source. And this thing, by the way, produces so many stress units. 8,192 to be precise, which kind of feels a bit overkill for this tiny windmill, but yeah, that's how we like it. Let's just say this. Oh jeez, I need a hoe. That's better. Where it stops, it knocks out what's been planted, which is kind of annoying. And this can also be avoided if we set it up like we have over here. Now, here I actually used a gantry carriage to support the harvester instead of the mechanical bearing, I think it was. Arguably, I'd say building like this is a bit more efficient, but yeah, it clearly doesn't look quite as cool as the spinny one. Anyway, because we simply go back and forth, it was actually an easy fix to set up 2 platforms either end, so when it stops, it's not knocking out a bunch of perfectly ripe wheat. Now, I've got a few more ideas on stuff I want to build, like a chocolate factory, because yeah, there's chocolate in this mod, bars and even buckets of the stuff. But I'd love to hear your ideas on stuff you'd like me to try, and I'm also happy to do a few block by block tutorials on stuff like this windmill setup as well, or the autonomous miner, so just let me know in the comments if you want to see that. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed. A massive thank you to my Patreons, and bye!